Hi, everyone. This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs YouTube channel. We've got a special guest tonight that I'll allow her to introduce herself here in a minute. But if you're new to my channel, I'm a part-time reseller. I work full-time in the corporate finance world. I build my business in my spare time and in the part-time. I've been building it for about 3 years now as a reseller, and probably more seriously in the last 6 months to a year. And one thing that I do value a lot is starting to reach out to other resellers and connect and kind of network and figure out what they're doing and what's working for them as they grow their business and work hard in their spare time. So I don't want to take up any of the beginning time here because we have a lot on the schedule here, and I'll let Jillian introduce herself and tell her what she's about and what she's doing.
Hey guys, I'm Jillian. I'm a relatively new reseller. I think I've only been doing it seriously since around October or November. So, but yeah.
And what?
Sorry.
So what platform do you sell on mostly?
I mostly do eBay. I've experimented with Poshmark just a little. I've had 2 sales. Mostly just eBay.
Mostly
yeah.
Well, and just to back up and give her a more thorough introduction, that she's being humble right now. But so Jillian works and builds her business as well, does both.
Yes.
And I've been following a lot of her content, her YouTube channel. You definitely should check it out, Just Jillian. I said that right, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. But she's got a lot of great content, and even for someone who's new to selling, I can tell you without a doubt that she has a lot to offer you. If you're thinking about reselling or have been reselling for a while, she has a lot to offer. But I'm going to back up and ask you, so how new to, I know you're new to eBay and Poshmark, but have you always looked at other ways to make income outside of your normal job? Has that been kind of always the thought process?
I've always been into being frugal, I guess. It started, I was a couponer for a long time. I'm just cheap, I guess. I don't like to spend a lot of money. And then my YouTube originally was about the Dollar Tree and trying to find good deals and stuff there. And then I guess I graduated from saving money to making money. And so now I'm just all about eBay. That's my passion right now. So
that's awesome. Well, I guess I'm going to probe a little more. So the Dollar Tree videos and the things that you were putting out, is that how your YouTube channel started? Is that kind of what spurred you to start putting out content?
Yeah. So I'm kind of switching gears with my YouTube because, I want to make videos about what I'm passionate about currently. So I'm switching to eBay slowly.
So no, that's awesome. Well, and it's funny, just especially as someone who works full time, it's like you find these different hobbies and passions, and they evolve over time as you learn more about what's out there and what opportunities are there. And that was the same way for me with eBay. When I first started, I was doing electronics and little things, and then as I started to find out more and find other resellers, you kind of evolve what you want to focus on and what you're passionate about. So and that's really cool.
YouTube is one of the biggest tools for anybody just starting reselling or any hobby really, but especially eBay and reselling. YouTube is the biggest tool that you should be using, I think.
I completely agree. I've learned more from YouTube than any book or anything I've read, and just talking with other people through YouTube. I mean, I've learned so much that way. So I definitely second that. Strong second. So I guess let's jump into what specifically. So you sell at eBay and Poshmark. So what specifically do you sell? What do you like to sell the most?
I mostly sell women's clothing. I mean, I'm open to selling anything I find that's worth money, but I don't know. I know about clothing. I'm a woman. I wear clothing. It was just something easy to get into, and I was watching other resellers who do it, so I started learning brands to pick up and just went on from there.
Gotcha. All right. So with clothing for you, I guess if you could name just highlight your top 3 reasons why clothing works the best for you outside of being a girl and liking clothing and things like that. Something about it is makes sense for you as a reseller.
It's light, so it doesn't cost as much to ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for me to find in my area. I have a few thrift stores, and so it's fun for me to shop. It's easy for me to find, and I don't know. I think that's it.
That's cool. I mean, that really is the same for me. Is I like the fact that clothing is easy to ship. That was what first drew me to it. Was shipping for me was this colossus of I don't even understand what I'm doing. I feel like I'm gonna make some mistakes. I mean, just starting to print my own labels was a nightmare in the beginning. And I consider myself kind of a relative self-starter. I like to figure things out. But when you're trying to understand what the USPS system is and what these cost and weigh, I mean, to me, that was what clothing was just like, okay, this makes sense to me. It's like, it's either under a pound or over a pound.
Or over a pound, yes.
Yeah,
First class or priority, that's it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and that's the biggest question I get from one of my subscribers is like, how do you ship? How do you ship with low costs and stuff? And the main thing if you're starting is make sure you're printing your labels through eBay. Don't do it any other way.
Yeah. Oh, and that's for sure. For my first like 10 packages or so, I was going to the post office and they're like, you know that you can do this from home. And I was like, really? Like, I think eBay gives you discounts. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if I can ask, how do you package your items? What is your approach with that?
I do have clear poly bags that I put my clothing in after I list it. Just because my storage area is next to my kitchen. I have dogs. I don't want to get hair and the food smell in there. Because I had stored like some stuff in that room before and then I wore it and it smelled like food. So I'm like, put in the clear poly bag and then I just use the eBay branded. Okay, I have one right here. No, then I just use these guys that I ordered from eBay to put it in when I actually mail it.
Oh, those are very nice. That's very similar system what I do. The self-seal poly bags are just they're so easy to use. And do you use the flat rates at all? Flat rate envelopes or the flat rate paddeds for any heavier stuff?
Yeah, only if it's over a pound. And I just ordered some from USPS, but it's taking forever. So I hope I don't sell anything over a pound until I get them. Maybe I should like put those listings on pause, but it's taking forever. I guess they don't have them in the post office anymore. At least not ours. You can't go grab them. So
yeah, the padded ones I can't find anywhere. I have found the cardboard, like it's like the tier down from it. It's the cardboard flat rate envelopes. But I was going to ask you, so maybe you haven't tried it yet. With the cardboard ones, some post offices they'll allow you to jam whatever you can fit in there and seal it, and it's fine. And then some other ones will reject them outright. Have you tried it all, the cardboard ones?
No, and I've watched other YouTubers who use it for jeans. So, and honestly, I don't do a lot of volume yet like you do. So I just request a package pickup. So I never even go to the post office and they pretty much take anything.
That's awesome.
And I know in the beginning, I was not weighing things correctly and I hadn't had a problem even then. Now, of course, I do weigh things correctly because I don't want anything to happen. But they're super like relaxed about that. I don't know. I guess I'm lucky. I've heard some nightmares of other people who've had problems with their post office, but so far so good for me.
Well, that's good. So I guess for the newer sellers out there and people who, can you tell us a little more about the porch pickup and like how you schedule those and like how that works?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
You just go onto USPS.com. You have, actually, I don't think I actually have to log in or have an account. I'm not sure, but just right there on the drop-down menu on the side, it'll say request a pickup. You fill out all the information and what day you want, and they'll send you a confirmation email and make sure that your items are where you specified. You can put it in your mailbox, on your porch, and make sure it's out before your mailman comes. It's free if you schedule it on your regular pickup time. If you want a special pickup at a different time, it costs $20. So don't do that.
Okay, so
it's really simple.
And for a lot of part-time resellers, that could be a really big piece to their day, right? So, I mean, if they're able to schedule a pickup while they're at work and they know it's in a safe place, I mean, that could save them a trip to the post office each day, and that could be huge. So do you pretty much do that all the time? Does that save you a lot of time?
All the time, unless my boyfriend, he's kind of off or slow during the winter, so if I have a lot of packages, I'll send him, but I pretty much always do that, especially since the hours I work at a school. I'm an aide for special ed kids. And so I'm at work most of the time that the post office is open. I mean, there's a couple hours when I get off work, but it's just so crazy that I don't even want to deal with it.
Gotcha. So, and kind of transitioning, so you said the hours and things like that. So what side we didn't talk geography. Are you West Coast, you're East Coast, you're middle of the country? Like where are you time zone wise?
Smack dab in the middle of California.
Okay.
So
all right.
It's not as cool as it sounds. There's like nothing here. It's all agriculture. It's not as fun as other, we're not near the beach or nothing like that. So
I gotcha. Yeah, I think that I'm probably the furthest point for you on the East Coast, and I know how crazy it is here. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's nutso here. So I can't imagine trying to go to the post office like either as the day starts or towards the end. I mean, around here, it's insane. I would never try it. We have an overnight bin, thank goodness, that I can drop my stuff in. Otherwise, I would go nuts.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Right.
Do you live in like a bigger city or?
Yeah, so Charlotte is like, I would say it's like a mid-sized city. It's definitely like a commuter suburb type setup. Their downtown area is pretty small. But just decent population is growing very fast, very, very fast. Like, 20,000 new people or so every year move here. So it's starting to get bigger. Definitely probably not as crowded as you're used to. And there's my dog. That's Thor, our golden retriever. So he is fearless, but also scared of everything at the same time. So
that's how my dog, my schnauzer that was barking earlier, is.
So let me ask you, what size? So you just started selling a couple months ago, and this maybe gives some people some perspective of just starting out. How many items do you have up for sale right now?
I only have 100. So
only 100? What do you mean only 100?
And a lot of them are like board game pieces that I pieced out, which I don't even know why I did all that work for such a small return. But I'm like, oh yeah, piece them out. So probably actually like 75 or 80.
So for me, I feel like that's a really good volume for someone who you literally just transitioned several months ago as a reseller on a new platform, and you're selling on a second platform, figuring out all the nuances, figuring out the porch pickups, figuring out all those things. I mean, to have that many listings up, I don't know. I think that's pretty solid. It took me a long time to crack 100 items. So
that was my goal. Like, I'm going to do it one way or the other.
Yeah.
So
cool. So how do you store your inventory? This is always the question I'm interested to hear from, especially part-time resellers. What is your approach? Kind of describe your inventory system and what you have going.
So I just finally got my area cleaned out to where I'm going to work and store my items. So I'm doing the bin thing, kind of similar to you. I watched one of your videos about how you do your storage. I haven't gotten like numbers going yet, which I know I need to soon, especially since I want to expand. But so far, I can tell what item the clothing is, and I know that's not going to work for much longer. And if I get my boyfriend involved helping shipping, I'm definitely going to have the things numbered. So that's my next goal, is have a number on the bin, have a corresponding number on the clothing, put that in the listing. So
very cool.
That's my next job.
Oh, and you have time to slowly transition, because I think I was at like 400 or 500 items. I still didn't have labels on anything. It took me to that point before I finally was like, okay, this is a little nuts. Like,
would it take you forever to find things?
Yeah.
Especially if everything's like all black and with the men's clothing.
Like, I have a few too many red check Ralph Lauren shirts to try to figure out which is the one going on. That was at the time I was like, all right, it's time to figure something out. Now, do you hang? So you have bins a little bit. Do you hang stuff as well?
No, I was thinking about getting a clothing rack, but so far most of the stuff I sell are blouses that are really easy to fold. I'm thinking of getting one just to hang it while I'm working, so I can have them all de-wrinkled and lint rolled, and then take the pictures that way. But no, right now everything's in a bin.
I do the same thing. I'm like, so I started out early on putting a lot of things on hangers, and I'm so adamantly against it now, because it's like every buyer is going to wash their item. Me preserving it on a hanger, it's just going to get wrinkled when I ship it. And it just takes up so much space. I think that was the big thing for me. It just takes up a lot of space. So I don't blame you there. Do you store your items in any like poly bags or anything like that, or do you just you just flat lay them the way they are and then package them when you ship?
No, I put them in the clear poly bags just because of dog hair and this kitchen being right there. So I know they already smell like a thrift store, but I don't want to add like smoke and food to that too.
Yeah, so, you don't want to add your own stuff to it. I hear you.
Yeah.
My golden retriever hair is everywhere, so I get it in the poly bag as soon as I possibly can.
I have a pug, and I think that oh my god, so much hair.
Pugs are pretty awesome dogs, though. So
it's my favorite dog. I love both my dogs, but he's my favorite.
I won't tell him. All right, so let me transition then a little bit. So, I always like to hear this. And I guess you kind of already touched on it, but so what is, like, you solely operate out of your home, and you mentioned your boyfriend. What is your plan? Like, do you plan to bring him in as just shipping? Do you plan to scale with other people, or do you plan to scale as far as you possibly can yourself and then add someone? Like, what is in your head spinning? What are you thinking?
Well, we've always dreamed about working from home and not having to go work for someone else and benefit someone else. So I think if I get the ball rolling enough, he would be on board to completely. Right now, it's my I mean, it's a little more than a hobby, but it's my baby right now. I can handle it right now. But in the future, if I get the ball rolling enough, he'll be willing to go all in with me. So, and then I guess after that point, I'll think about other help. But that's not even. I'm not even close to that yet. So
that's okay. Well, no, that's awesome. I mean, I think it's such an attainable goal too. And I mean, I talk about it a bit on my channel, but just it's so doable to keep your current job and build something to a point then that you can switch over and do it in a relatively like not risky manner. I think that there's this shroud over building a business and entrepreneurship that it's this huge risky thing. And I think you're like what you're doing and what I'm doing and the platform there, it's there to safely do it. So that's cool. I just like hearing about, kind of what those plans are. That's neat.
Yeah. I'm just amazed because I remember when I decided to start doing this, I had like a $50 like promotional card from switching phones or something. And I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do eBay for a while because I knew that you could sell Dollar Tree items, which I don't recommend. But at the time that I was like, oh, I could start doing that. I started with a $50 gift card. And now I've reinvested most of it, but I got lights. I've gotten all this equipment. I've made some money too and grown from $50.
That's amazing. Yeah. And it's got to be so gratifying to know that you started with something like a little nest egg like that and just kind of multiplied it. I mean, that's
a lot of time,
right? But yeah. So that's my other question. Talking about reinvesting. So do you keep your business separate from your personal stuff? So like your job supports one and this is kind of just it all self-invest, or do you kind of pick and choose, or how do you approach your business as far as that goes?
I've been relaxed up until this point. Like I'll put most of it back, or sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm going to take out a little bit and use it for something personal. But since it's still January, I'm going to go open my second business bank account. I should have already done it, but I'm going to keep it completely separate. And my short-term goal for everything is I'm trying to get into dental hygienist school. I guess that'll be like my backup plan if eBay doesn't work out. And I'm hoping that I don't have to take out so many loans. I want eBay to kind of like get me through that. Mm-hmm. So I just want to keep saving until then.
That's awesome.
But I want it separate. I need a separate account. You should definitely do that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Keeping it separate helps you too in your head, like see how it's actually growing and performing. Early on, I commingled so much and it got really complicated. And it wasn't until I separated and then I got serious about it because I could see it really grow and multiply fast. And I could reinvest quicker to get my inventory up. So very cool. So can you describe, I guess, for me, what a typical day/week looks like? I mean, as someone who works, has a day job, and is trying to grow your business, like what does your typical day look like from start to finish?
Well, I go to work. Luckily, I have a job where I get off pretty early at 2:30, no weekends. So that does make it a lot easier to balance work. But as the week goes, I know which days my favorite thrift store has half off days. So that's Monday and Thursday. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely sourcing those 2 days. And then I like to get it up listed fast. So whatever I buy Monday, I'll have it up and listed by Tuesday. Usually I'm so excited, I'll photograph it like right when I get home. And then throughout the next couple of days, I'll get the listings going. And then the same thing with Thursday, I'll have those up by Saturday. And then sometimes Saturday I'll go sourcing somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But I know for sure I have to go to my thrift store on those 2 days.
Gotcha. Okay. So. Nice. So you've got a pretty decent system then down where you know each week kind of how you're going to attack it. You've already kind of mapped out in your head what days I'm going to the thrift store. And okay, that's cool. I love to hear that you list your items so quickly. I think a lot of people get in that trap of they just want to buy, and all of a sudden their room, they turn around and they just got piles all around them. And you don't know where to start. And you're like,
Well, and to be fair, I don't find a lot at once. So I don't know if, this is a lower economic area. So that's just the town. But so I don't know if there's just not as much good stuff, or if I need to expand my knowledge of brands.
Right.
So, or I need to start traveling. There's a bigger city about 25, 30 minutes away. So I think I need to make it more of a habit to head over there because that's where I find my best stuff. Right. So I kind of need to change up what I'm doing so I can find more things. Like I can't find enough stuff to sell right now here. So
makes sense. Yeah, that's I used to, so when I was upstate New York, it's when I lived in a very, I would say, low economic area as far as, prosperity goes. So thrift stores where I would find probably 4 or 5 items per store versus like down here in Charlotte, I'm finding like 10 plus every single store. Sometimes I find 25, 30 items in the store. And so it's just like part of that I do attribute to brand knowledge, right? Over a couple of years of reselling, you definitely just know a lot more. I'm hitting every single section of the store, things that I would have overlooked before. But the other part is being in a nice economic area does help. But so you have a bin store near you, or is it all just retail Goodwills?
I do have a bin store near me. It's in the larger town I mentioned, that's 35 minutes away, but then it's like out on the edge in the country of that town, probably almost an hour, 40, 50 minutes away. But they require a seller's permit, and you have to buy a minimum of 100 pounds.
What?
And you have to sign all these. Yeah, I've been like every chat I watch of some other reseller. Like, have you ever heard of this? Everybody's like, no. So what the heck?
Wow. So
I might jump in and do it, but okay, this is kind of the part where my knowledge is lacking. Like, if I have a seller's permit, I don't do I have to deal with sales tax? Does that hold me? Am I more likely to be audited? Like, do I want to do that at this point? Is it worth it for me? I'm sure I will, but eventually.
Yeah. So early on, like I said, I'm not a tax professional, so I try. Like, I don't have that type of knowledge necessarily. But as far as like the reseller's permit goes and the sales tax, I don't charge sales tax. I just pay whatever I need to pay on it at the end of the year. So that way, the way my sales tax works here in North Carolina is I only have to pay the people I sell to in North Carolina. So
that's what I've heard too.
It's very limited number of sales, and you can kind of just take all that data out of PayPal and just filter on the state, so you can see who bought from you. So I never really worry about sales tax. So getting a reseller's permit wouldn't really bother me that much, because I don't think it's really put in a microscope on anything. And the volume area, I wouldn't worry about that either. But it would be worth it if it opens up the doors though for sourcing like that. It's just a matter of 100 pounds is a lot.
100 pounds. And what if I get there and it's awful stuff,
Yeah, you have to be there for hours to get 100 pounds.
Or just start buying a bunch of junk I don't need, which defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
So, I am excited though, because this Saturday, Plato's Closet, I don't know if everyone has those. It's a place where, like, I don't know, the younger crowd can sell their really nice clothing and then they resell. It's a glorified thrift store, but it's supposed to be nicer stuff. They're having dollar clearance, so I am taking $100 and I'm going to try to find 100 items.
Oh, absolutely. I've heard that those are huge scores for resellers. I heard the Plato's Closet, when they do either bag sales or the $1 clearance, and those are like the way to go. Like, you can compare a lot of stuff. Cool.
So I guess I got to look for more opportunities like that. Maybe I'll get into estate sales. I don't know. There are nicer places close to me. So I don't know. I gotta expand a little bit.
I gotcha. I have very limited experience with estate sales, but the couple I've gone to are absolute home runs. Like, nobody goes to clothing. Like, that's been my experience. Like, nobody cares about the clothing. Everyone's looking for antiques or looking for all that stuff. Like,
it's got to be their size and stuff. So
yeah. So I found a lot of vintage stuff when I went, like vintage Lacoste items and things like that. So, I would say definitely check out the estate sales on your weekends if you can. I mean, it's definitely a good way to go. And I know that I think I've heard you say you watched Nicole State, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned brands from just watching her, and I don't even sell women's clothing, but I've come across them that have been in the wrong sections.
And you're like, okay. Do you ever do that? Do you ever pick up a women's item just because you've heard of it?
If it's a brand I know and I can sell it, I will. I don't actively pursue them because it's just different styles and measurements and keywords. And I feel like it's learning something completely different, which I'm okay with if the money's there. But for me, like, it took me so long to get the keywords and descriptors and everything for men's clothing. It was like, I am a man, and I still took me forever to learn it. But the idea of figuring it out for the women's side is a little intimidating. But I've sold mostly dress shirts and blouses, like blouse type stuff I found in there, or dress pants that were new with tags get slipped in sometimes. So
definitely watching other people's haul videos, especially ones that know what they're doing. Well, most of the YouTubers I watch know what they're doing, all of them. But the ones that are really knowledgeable, you watch their hauls and you can learn so many brands.
Absolutely. So let's talk setups, because that's one of my other favorite topics. So how do you take your pictures? And what type of equipment do you have? Just kind of give me the rundown of start to finish, what you use and what you like to use and things like that.
Okay, so I use my cell phone. It works just fine. I have a Galaxy S7, so I did invest in the umbrella lights, the ones with the 2 white and then the gold reflector.
Yeah.
It's made life so much easier. Other people said you can use natural light and stuff. That's not always the case. Sometimes I'm working at night and the pictures look horrible without good lighting, so it's definitely worth getting lights. And then I got a vinyl backdrop. It was only like $6 off of eBay, so I used that. It looks like fake wood, just basic, what everybody else does, I guess. And then I got a mannequin. I don't know if that's totally like a must, because I've seen a lot of people like Nicole State flat lays and she does just fine. But I like the mannequin. I got it for I asked for it for Christmas, so it wasn't. I didn't have to spend money on it, so
yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's it. I use the mannequin, my lights, my phone.
Awesome.
I think having a good setup is really important.
Yeah, I mean, what you described, that's all you need. That's more than you need. I mean, the lighting. To me, lighting was a game changer. So like that's why I always like people.
First thing new sellers should invest in lighting.
Yeah, because I feel like the backdrop, you can use a wall.
You take it or leave it.
You can find a wall that's neutral, but mannequin, you can find a way to flat lay. Mannequin, I do like. I use a mannequin. I think it makes it streamlines.
Well, especially because you do like dressier items, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for blazers and things like that. I also just like it because I can spin mine, so it's like. I don't have to keep repositioning the item to get different angles. I just literally just spin it and rotate it while I'm snapping pictures. So it's more of a process thing for me. But the lighting, people are buying what they see. And I think people undervalue that so much when they're differentiating their listings. And so that's cool. And natural light, it is valid. Like natural light will work. If you work during the day and it's sunny where you are all the time and whatever, then great.
Or you have a window that's actually on the right side of your house, which I definitely
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I work early morning before it's even light out usually, and late at night. So it's like, it's not an option.
It's not an option, yeah.
Now, I did find, so the backdrop, like you mentioned, I found it helped my sales a lot almost right away. And I don't know if it's just because it contrasts with the colors and the lighting and it's more appealing or it looks more professional, but I have found that helps for sure.
Yeah. And then if you see somebody lay something like on their floor, it's like, even though it's not that big a deal, it just like that was on their floor. I don't know. It's not appealing at all. So. No,
I agree. I totally agree. So that's an awesome setup. Now pricing, how do you price your items? So I like to talk about this because I feel like there is no right approach. But I'm just always curious, Nicole State, I look at her end of the spectrum where she is as competitive as it gets, looking for more of that fast nickel. And then, Ronnie Hart, I'm not sure if you watched any of his videos before, Hart's Pickers, but, he's at like the super high end. Like, he's holding out for max dollar all the time. Like, where do you think you fall on that spectrum?
I guess
where you try to be.
Yeah, I'm still kind of finding my way with that. I guess right now I'm kind of in the middle, but I know some items I get, I guess so far it goes on like how much I like the item. I'm like, that's a good item. I'm going to wait for full price. Or if I'm like, it's been there for a while. It's not that cool. Why did I buy this? I'll put it on sale or lower the price or something. So I don't know. I guess time will tell where I end up with that.
Well, that makes sense.
What do you do?
So yeah, I'm a more of a I'm probably like middle end of the spectrum towards Ronnie, more of like, and I guess I view it because I'm a part-time reseller. I'm focused on building my quantity of inventory, and I'd rather get max value because I don't have a full-time amount of time to throw at it. I feel like I'd rather just get max value and build that way because it's more better use of my time. But I think either works. Like I've tried to pick a wider range of items now. So like I'll sell the lower price point items and I'll price those down very competitively. But then when I find my home runs, like I wait for max dollar for them. So that's what's worked for me. And you described the similar thing, right? It's like you find something you really like, you never find it often. I'm going to wait to get the max value.
Yeah.
I find my run-of-the-mill American Eagle Pearl Snap shirt that I find 10 of, a month. I'm just going to price them as competitively as I can, and away they go. So, yeah, same type of thing. Very cool. Let me see what else I got here. I got lots of questions for you. So actually, let's go back and touch on first just some of your short-term goals? So I know I have the overall idea for your business, but like, let's say next 30 days and next 90 days, like what are you pushing for? What are you striving for?
I don't know. I'm not like a set in stone type of person. It's just when I get a new hobby, I just want to just go and grow. But I just want to increase my listings too. I think I want to, within the next 90 days, I want to have 2, maybe 300 listings.
That's awesome.
So
that's the best way to grow your business. So I mean, hearing that as a short-term goal is awesome. You're not going to grow it any other way. That's for sure. So with that, and trying to preserve that inventory as it grows, do you best offer, or do you do buy it now and let it go? Do you do auctions? What do you
I kind of do it all just to see what works. Auctions are probably my least thing. I use those as a last resort to get rid of things. So I'm not really into auctions. I like to do, and I've been playing around with free shipping, not free shipping. So I'll do best offer if I have shipping on there, and then I'll just do straight buy it now, and then I'll do free shipping on those. Gotcha. That's what I've been trying lately.
I'm similar. For me, I don't know how it's for you, but for me, like as a part-time reseller, hearing noises on my phone and notifications is like the best motivation. Like when I get an offer or I hear the cha-ching. So like I tried for a while. Like Ronnie, I watch a lot of his videos, and he is adamantly against best offer. Hates it. Like everyone lowballs me. I don't like it. And, like, I understand that because it's frustrating, but like I just get so demotivated if I have no alerts all day long. It's like, man, I busted my butt for the last week and I don't even have a sale today. I'm the same way. I'm best offer and fixed price, and I like to keep things moving for sure.
I've had pretty good experience with best offer. I've only had a couple low balls, and most of the time I end up making a sale. So I don't know if I've just been lucky or what, but. But lately, I haven't been, even the items I have best offer on, I'll get watchers and stuff, but I haven't been having that many offers. Well, it's been slow all around for me. Has it been for you? I don't know, with the inauguration, or I don't know.
So January and February historically
bad month.
are pretty bad months for clothing sellers. I had a short burst like right as the year ended into the first, and then from like the 2nd to the 10th, I was pretty slow. It started to pick up recently, but I think it's pretty normal. Any full-time reseller that I've watched or talked to said January and February are usually the worst months for clothing.
Okay.
So it's not. Don't get too discouraged. Yeah. So do you run sales? That's my other question. Do you do sales at all?
I've done a few, and I don't know if I'm just so small that I don't feel like they've really increased my sales. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, I've done 20% off. I've even put certain things half off just to get them out. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like anything sold faster. So I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. So I've experimented a lot with this, and I'm not sure the science and what works perfectly, but I've been doing recently just 2-day sales. So I was doing like a full week, and then I realized I don't think it really creates any urgency. And I feel like the sale price is catering to your watchers, right? It's like someone's been watching the item, and you all of a sudden throw it on sale. It's like, all right, like buy it. It's cheaper than you thought it was. So I've been doing 2-day increments, and like 15 to 20% is about where I like to go. And that's just because in my head I know where I've priced it and kind of where it'll be at. Yes, I've been experimenting.
People are coming home. They're staying with me, so there's like a full house of animals and people.
No worries.
So do they increase your sales? Do you?
Yeah, when my sales are slow, I always put a sale up just because, and I'll price the inventory lower. Like if I have things with a ton of watchers, I'll go through, I'll scan like 50, 100 items at watchers, and I'll lower the price on them just to see if I can get people to bite and get things to move, because I get frustrated if things aren't moving. So
that's probably a good strategy when you have a lot more items and action in your store. For me, at this point, I don't have enough going on to where I think it does anything.
Now, do you have a store subscription? You have a basic store then, I assume? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I try to talk to people about their store subscriptions, because for the longest time, I never utilized my auctions, my free auction listings. And I wish that early on I had with items that I knew I could do that with. And now I put ties up for auction just because I put them up for like $9.99 because that's the price point I want. But it's just like, it's free kind of money sitting out there. Like you're paying per listing and you only get so many free on the fixed price side. But if you can find items at auction, I felt like that was a really good way to diversify and kind of capitalize on that.
Do you have what level store do you have?
So I have the middle one. I think it's premium. I think premium is the middle one. And I guess like I was doing the math the other day. I put a little video on it, and until you hit like 30, I think it's 3,400 items. Like it's not even worth it to go through. It's gonna be.
Jonathan, I'm doing a video, so.
All right. There you go.
No, I'm talking to somebody live. Like, go away. Love you, brother. Who's gonna talk to me?
No, I get it. So I only have a couple more questions, so it's actually no big deal. So I wanted to hear if you kind of talk to your long-term goals, so that's fine. But if you could give advice to someone just starting out, like what are some of the things that were pitfalls for you very early that you wish you knew, or just general advice you would give to a new seller?
Just really do your research about shipping. I made some horrible shipping mistakes to where I didn't make any money, and so use YouTube, look up stuff you don't know, Google stuff you don't know. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time researching. That's just the way it is, or you're gonna make mistakes, but you'll make a lot less if you're spending the time researching.
Absolutely.
And just don't get discouraged. Things they'll build slowly. It's not gonna happen overnight. So.
I think that's great advice. So, keep your momentum on your side and making sure that you're learning from those mistakes before you create them, and not to freak out when you do make mistakes.
Yeah, you're going to make a few mistakes. That's just the way it goes. But.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on the show, and just it's really nice to connect with some other resellers, and I plan to do a couple more. I'm going to try each month to connect with a new reseller, and hopefully I'll get a chance to continue talking and sharing some knowledge with you, especially on the other side of the world of the female clothing. I'm not as familiar with it.
Yeah, it's different. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And people out there watching, if you did like the video and this was helpful, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and definitely go check out Just Jillian's YouTube channel, because she's got some really, really awesome content out there. She touches on definitely the female clothing side of the world and what that means and looks like as a business. So definitely go check her out, guys, and everyone have a great night.
Thank you.